very excited today. You know why?
Why?
Because we are going to be draining one of our ponds this winter. So within the next couple weeks, we're going to try to get it drained out so we can clean it out. But guess what?
What?
There are fish in it.
Woo!
And I'm going to try to catch some. Maybe we'll eat them. We'll see. Maybe I'll relocate some. But just in time for that, guess what we got? Go nets.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I used to have, up until earlier this year, this fishing pole that I bought years ago. Not years. This one came actually in a carrying case. So it's very mobile. Fishing rod, reel. It came with some fishing line. This is 7.9 kilogram test, which equals around 17-pound test. So
wow.
The biggest concern is how good this fishing line is. I have no doubt that the reel and the rod works because I've already had one of these. And I broke the rod, my own fault, earlier this year on a snag, and I forced the snag too hard and busted the rod. But I moved the reel to another rod that I had, and it's still working great.
We reached out to Gonex.
To see if they would replace it,
Yes.
and they said, sure,
They
we'll send you a new one. Will you do a video, and we'll send you a whole kit instead of just a rod. So the kit came with the line, the reel, the rod, and this little fishing thing. Today, I am going to only use what came with the kit. So we have a couple topwater bugs that I'm going to try, and then some basic jigs with some grub tails. It also comes with worm hooks for shaft, for like a Texas rig, bullet weights, some swivels, a little bit of extra good stuff there. So it's not just a rod. But I'm going to get this put together and then go over to the pond we're going to be draining and see if we can catch some fish with it. Just real quick, guys, it's a telescopic rod. I think it's a 7.5 foot. That's what it looks like. But if you see there, that is a great flex on that rod. Probably, I don't know, my 42-pound bass that I'm getting ready to catch may break it, but we'll see if it stands up to it.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't break it.
I hope not either.
The carrying case it came in is soft and cushioned to protect it when it's inside, and then this is hard outside. You could easily pack it away in a suitcase for a vacation.
As I mentioned, my biggest concern with this whole kit is the quality of the fishing line, but we won't know until we get out there. And as I mentioned, I am only going to use the lures that came with this. No other lures today, unless I don't catch any fish. I normally don't use a swivel when I'm bass fishing.
Swivel?
But I'm going to today, just so I can change these lures back and forth without having to cut the line. A lot of different fishing knots. I'm sure if you're a fisherman, you could probably tie about 20 yourself. But today I am going to use an easy knot to remember. You go through the eye and then pull out the extra and then go back through the eye. And then you're going to tie that in a knot. And then you're going to take either the lure, the swivel, or the hook and loop it through before you pull it tight. Okay, let's go fishing. We are heading over to the pond in the north pasture that will be draining here in the next month or so. So the pond over here is about at least 2 foot low. So it is probably a good time to try to go and drain it. If I'm gonna do it this fall, probably need to get on it before we get some fall rain. But let's see if we can catch some fish out of it. A lot of moss in it right now. So I'm gonna try, I think these plugs are jerkbait top lure plugs. We'll try those and see how we do. See how it casts. Woo, good cast. So this is definitely a topwater jerkbait. Cast it a few times. If we get any takers. If we don't get anything here quickly, I'll put on a jig with a grub. And they just cast really well. Even with this cheaper, I'm assuming it's cheaper fishing line on it. So let's change over to a jig. So I caught a little guy off of this grub here. Unfortunately, the camera had shut off and I didn't realize it. So we didn't get him on the video, but let's try to get another one on here. Okay, got one on. Another little guy, but he'll be good size to move to another pond. I'm gonna try to cast down here a ways without getting directly in the moss. Oop, had one hit it. He didn't take it all the way. Go back and try to get him. So I filled the spool of this reel up pretty much as full as it will go. And I haven't had any loose tangles yet. Looks like we got a moss shelf right here. Extremely shallow. Crank it a little faster. Oop, there we go. Got a little guy there. Maybe a hair bigger. Not much, though. They are fun to catch, for sure. Water is really clear in this pond, other than all the algae or moss. Had a little bite there, but I think it took it into the weeds. To me, I don't care if you're catching 10-pound bass, 20-pound flatheads, or quarter-pound bluegill. Fishing is fishing, and it's always fun. I think if we can get this pond cleaned out, get the right fish in it, get some of the muck out, then I think we'll be pretty set to have a nice little fishing pond over here too. There we go. Another nice little guy. Sure does feel a lot heavier when you get an extra quarter pound of moss on it. These guys are all pretty much the same size. We're gonna pull forward a little bit. Little guy. Really little guy there. This little setup is pretty nice fishing pool. Look at that trophy, guys. Okay, gonna cast a couple more times and then call it good. This rod and reel, the reel is extremely smooth reeling it in. Exactly where I wanted it. The exact spot. Ooh, I had it. Oop, he may be on there. Had a good hit anyway. Oop, he got off right there. Tried to force him over the moss and he shook it off. There he is. Probably the same guy right there. That was right where he got off, so I would almost bet it's the same guy. Again, they're all about the exact same size in this pond. Great pond to catch them for stocking. So this pond is always fun. Got to find the right lure for the day. But once you find it, you're almost guaranteed to catch a half dozen fish within about 20 minutes. If even 20 minutes. Friends are coming down, getting in the pond. Primary purpose of the pond over here is for them. That's why I want to drain it in the winter time as opposed to the hot summertime when it dries up. During the summer, because even if it's low in the summer, it's still deep enough for them to cool off. In the wintertime, they have plenty of water, but don't need to cool off. Oop, little guy hit it right there. Let's see if we can catch him before we go. It's always hard to give up when you have a bite right by the bank and you said it's your last cast. Okay, but we're gonna call it good here. This little pole here is compact. Love every bit about its folding up. Check it out, link in the description. Fun to catch some little bass. Comes with a few little lures. Probably be a good gift for the young fishermen in your family. As far as the pond, you see it's already pretty low, so in the next few videos you'll probably see us starting to drain it. Step one, as mentioned, try to remove some of the fish that are in there. Relocate them or eat them. Talk to you later.